Just a few minutes ago, I had the great pleasure of speaking to 7 Americans who are now free from their imprisonment or detention in Iran, out of prison, and now in Doha, en route back to the United States to be reunited with their loved ones. 5 of the 7, of course, had been unjustly detained, imprisoned in Iran, some for years. 2 others had been prevented from leaving Iran. I spoke to them after they landed in Doha. I can tell you that it was, for them, for me, an emotional conversation. It's easy in the work that we do every day sometimes to get lost in the abstractions of foreign policy and relations with other countries, and forgetting the human element that's at the heart of everything we do. But today, their freedom, the freedom of these Americans for so long unjustly imprisoned and detained in Iran, means some pretty basic things. It means that husbands and wives, fathers and children, grandparents can hug each other again, can see each other again, can be with each other again. So it's a day that I'm grateful for. I want to thank a number of partners who've been so vital to helping us reach this day, particularly our partners in Oman, Switzerland, Qatar, the United Kingdom. Each has played a very important role in enabling us to free our fellow citizens. I'd also like to thank an extraordinary team at the State Department and throughout the United States government that has been working to achieve this result for years now. As happy as we are at the freedom of our fellow citizens, we also are thinking today of Bob Levinson, who is not among them and who is presumed deceased. Bob's legacy, however, lives on. It lives on powerfully in the Levinson Act, which has given us new and important tools to help crack down on and deter the practice of taking Americans unlawfully to try to turn them into political pawns and to abuse the international system in that way. To date, under this administration, we have now brought 30 Americans home from places around the world where they were being unjustly detained. That work will continue. At the same time, we're going to be working every single day to take steps to make this practice more and more difficult and more of a burden on those countries that engage in it. And you'll see in the days ahead here in New York at the United Nations our efforts to work with other countries to do just that. But for today, for this moment, it's very good to be able to say that our fellow citizens are free after enduring something that I think it would be difficult for any of us to imagine, that their families will soon have them back among them, and that in this moment, at least, I have something very joyful to report. Finally, let me say that throughout this effort, throughout the work we've done to bring so many other Americans home, President Biden has demonstrated that he's prepared to make tough and difficult decisions. I have no higher priority. The President has no higher priority than making sure that Americans who are unjustly detained anywhere can come home. And we'll continue that work in the days ahead. First, let me be very clear that this process and the engagements necessary to bring it about, the freedom of these unjustly detained Americans, has always been a separate track in our engagement, or for that matter, lack of engagement, with Iran. So irrespective of what was happening or not happening, for example, in pursuing the effort to return to the nuclear agreement, we've been focused on working independently to bring these Americans home. So it doesn't speak to anything else in the relationship. We continue to be determined to take whatever step is necessary to deal with actions by Iran in a whole host of areas that are profoundly objectionable and that many other countries find objectionable. At the same time, when it comes to perhaps the number one issue of concern, which is Iran's nuclear program, we continue to believe that diplomacy is the best way to get a sustainable, effective result, one that we had previously with the Iran nuclear agreement, and we'll continue to see if there are opportunities for that. In this moment, we're not engaged on that, but we'll see in the future if there are opportunities. But President Biden's also been very clear that one way or another, he's committed to ensuring that Iran never acquire a nuclear weapon.